Greetings. Give honor to Source for the Most High for making all this possible. Why do you put the phone up here now? I love when I'm in that life. Let's give honor to Source, the Creator, ancestors known and unknown. Amazing shit that's upon us. I'm honored to be sharing my messages because I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna encourage you. Outside of societal norms and everything that someone trying to tell you, oh, everybody's supposed to be successful or go the same route in the same way. No, you are your own star in your own birthright. You are you, uniquely you, for a fucking reason. Nobody else supposed to be you like you. Let me tell you something. I started more and more, I just started to accept about my knowingness of just what I came here to be, especially what I've learned in relationships. There's nothing small about me. And I'm not talking about physically or none of that. There's nothing small about who I am. Now on a micro, macro level and so forth, it's just some of us are here knowing that nudge. You just know, like, nah, bruh. You will start to realize shit in connections and relationships where you'll feel it ain't even so much drain. You'll feel like your life force of so many things where you feel like you lost yourself so much of something or someone, especially when you're trying to look for an external identity. That can be very costly. It can be very costly. I gotta give me some tea. It can be very costly. And the reason I say that is, where am I gonna put this in? The reason I say that is because every part of you, whatever you're in, is going to bring up a version. There's going to be something mirrored back to you. There's something to learn from that. One of my greatest things I've been learning is my worth in relationships. My worth, my value for me. In learning connections, I had to realize like why certain things would not be sustainable. And this is why I'm so glad that a lot of titles are going out. Like a lot of what we're moving into, I really feel like titles isn't going to be a thing. No, it's not the egg. It's something else in here. Titles. And the reason I say that is because once you start to see like what has been so much of a distraction for people, and a lot of the old world narrative again, that's why I never gave a fuck about the societal norms. I couldn't conform to nothing here. That's why there's nothing. And see, in your not trying to conform to anything and be put in a fucking box, the world will try to make it seem like you're not important, or it'll seem like that in family structures and so forth and everything else. But what, like that knowingness of yourself, you realize like it's bigger than just approval. It's to realize like I ain't got shit to prove. So why do I need approval to be me? I'm so glad a lot of stuff is dissolving, even around when I say relationships and so forth, because there's so much expectations. Because one of my previous videos, I was talking about how there's so much unrealistic expectations, especially when we have been groomed or programmed to believe so much from a fear-based shit. If you're not this, then you're not that. So guess what? People operate out of fear and insecurities when they're trying to obtain that shit. Then when they get it, guess what ends up happening? The fear subconsciously, or what's not rooted in truth, ends up eventually, when the shift is amongst us like now, their fears come up. And that's natural, human experience, especially if you didn't grow up in environments where, again, I've said this before, where you didn't grow up in things that were stable. It ain't just physical stability. It always goes back to the emotional stability. Were your mother emotionally stable? How did she know how to navigate through things when shit got tough? Then when you see certain demographics, when it comes to that, you'll see why people perform or act the way they do. They performing right now. And that's why they so obsessed with other people who aren't even really living an authentic life. They performing too. I can't put on a performance. For what? I can't fake this shit. Can't fake emotions that are fucking real. Can't fake this shit. You know how much anger I've had around the fact of things that come up and you realize, like, you gotta breathe and be reminded it's temporary. You came here to enjoy life. Don't get attached to it. But at the same time, it's a part of the experience to be like, once you realize so much emotion comes up around what you've experienced, what you've held on to, what you repressed and so forth, just to get to a place of balance and harmony. That fear shit has been revealing a lot to me. Like I said, sometimes you can be in people's life or even society, when you look at it on so many levels, that the only opposition to me rising from my divine feminine into my masculinity, the only one who fear that will be the very ones who are trying to oppress or keep people emotions suppressed and keep them repressing them through learned behavior patterns or preying on their childhood wounds. Because why wouldn't someone who realizes the importance of emotions, the importance of how everything is interconnected, how that shit, there's nothing small about feminine energy. There's nothing small about feminine fucking energy. The expression of femininity. Man, this shit is... I couldn't play small if I wanted to. Then I started to recognize, dang, that's why I went through that connection. It was reminding me of my worth. What is my worth? Where does my worth begin? No, my worth ain't got shit to do with what y'all talk about on a superficial level. I view currency and money differently. My worth is completely different. My worth and my value ain't determined by Forbes list or a certain status or job position. My focus ain't on how much visibility I get. I been knew I was getting, man, listen. I knew exactly what I was preparing for. Even when through the confusion of where you can be in connections or relationships or partnerships with people, bro, their fears will come up. People don't want to be who they really want to say they want to be. They want success, but they ain't even consistent in staying 10 toes down with navigating through their shit to get there. Because again, y'all think success looks all the same. It's crazy. It's wild. You've been bamboozled. And as these transits shift, it's going to be asking people to stand 10 toes down. All of us have been living in delulu or confusion and so forth, even when we thought we wasn't. Because even if you bought into the narrative of what success was, how to obtain and all this other stuff, when again, the foundations of the old templates of the old world that is collapsing so rapidly now, inwardly and outwardly, the more people come into who they are, the more they love on themselves, the more they start to face what's in them, they start to realize what in the entire fuck. And guess what comes up around that? What you suppress through that experience. That's who you've been running from. That's who you've been avoiding. That emotional part of you that you have kept away from yourself and everybody else. So that's why the fucking word, and I even realized that, I told you, like my other video, my fucking sensitivity is my superpower. I'm sensitive to bullshit. That means I ain't finna tolerate it. I ain't finna tolerate it. If you want this indigenous man to pretend and go out there and and pretend to like shit is okay, especially when it ain't okay with me that I know I gotta sit with, and you know it brings up a memory of somebody when I was walking into a space, dropping my daughter off at her daycare or whatever, or yeah, and you know the lady wanted me to speak, but I'm sitting here like, lady, I'm over here trying to process my fucking life. I'm trying to breathe. I'm trying to see what's really going on with me. Because if I respond right now, it may not be the best. You may take this completely wrong, because I realize that a lot of us have been programmed to hold shit so much in that once somebody says something that you don't like or that's not of people-pleasing stature, and oh, hey, how are you doing, and all like that, that doesn't mean I'm not happy with myself. That doesn't mean that, you know, this is that passive-aggressive shit that we have learned. Once you repress that shit and suppress it, once you repress and suppress that shit, I'm telling you, like, y'all don't even realize this shit goes this fucking deep every day. It gets so deep to where I'm telling myself, I am not learning how to, I'm learning every day, and like, I'm not gonna bullshit and I don't have to do what I don't want to do, bro. Y'all don't realize day to day, especially for me as a man, as a darker man, when it comes to the fact of what I've dealt with in this fucking country, what I know people have dealt with, what I know people still live with collectively because they're afraid. And that's why y'all don't realize a lot of this shit runs off fucking fear. I had to tell the mother of my church, it's like so much shit, it's like I can't even hide. You don't know the fucking feeling of driving and then looking over, and then when you see a police and then something in your heart. Do y'all not realize, like, that's a nervous system thing? That's a collective thing? And then you have to be honest and live through love. Nobody, you think I came to earth to live like this? You think I came to earth to experience this shit? You think I would sit here to realize, like, damn, I wanted to be born and then experience this bullshit? Y'all don't realize a lot of people, especially me, you think I give a fuck about a status, a person, or something when it comes to stuff like that? When I'm just sitting here every day trying to navigate the world and get a sense of realizing that whatever's happened outside of me, because it's easy to say this, whatever happened outside of me, I need not to be concerned about. When that is the very thing that has kept so many people who have been in abusive upbringings, who have been emotionally neglected and so forth, because they were never instilled the importance of what? Emotional security, being self-sufficient, breathing. At 36, I'm reminding myself that I am emotionally safe. I'm secure. I can walk down the street. Hey, TJ, if you see a police, that motherfucker ain't finna come after you. You good, bro. But still, you still trying to process things, paranoia, trying to make sure certain shit ain't coming up, dealing with spiritual warfare, realizing, like, you know what? You safe. You're held. Not every day. Getting to this point later on in my years, realizing how much I want to be to myself. Even if you have kids. How much I want to be to myself. And I got to be honest and be like, baby girl, y'all don't fucking get it, bro. Sometimes it takes you realizing that I gotta run away from the burning house because the shit is collapsing. I gotta walk away from all this shit. Because they try to run back in the house, which a lot of people, I titled that in one of my last videos, people so easily, because they're so codependent, try to run back and save the house, save a burning house, save people in the house. If you don't get that analogy, I don't know what to say. Some people calling their purpose is to realize that, I've said before, a lot of people won't get to that place where they can walk away from everything. And some people get so offended by that shit. You know why? Because they never walked this path. They don't know what it is. They don't know what it is to go away and stay away. Because a lot of what people have built is on fear. This shit real, bro. You get it. You'll be in a relationship when you realize, like, some shit, like connections and business and so forth, it's just people let their fears rule them. They do. They do. They're afraid to walk into their purpose. Because that shit will reveal all their fears, all of what they're holding on to. Money, material, all this external shit, it will reveal what you're holding on to. Like I said, this shit real, bro. When you think that you get to a place and you starting to really learn more and more about yourself, you start to more and more detach. You start to really realize, like, I have no control over nothing what no one else does. At the same time, that allows me to just be more present, be more grateful, cherish. That's why I feel like we really can cherish the experience of people. Is once you start removing these fucking labels, these attachments. Nothing belongs to you here. Nothing. Nothing. That's why I see all this fucking silent panic. People panicking. I'm over here like, man, I'm over here trying to learn how to regulate my fucking nervous system. People trying to all of a sudden jump back in my life, clean gone. I'm like, bro, no. Leave me alone. I want to be alone. That's taking back your power. Said that to my daughter the other day. Baby, not right now. She was like, well, she said, I get it, Daddy. Daddy, yeah, what you're saying is you need your space. Exactly. If a child can get that, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Y'all don't realize, oh my gosh, bro, I gotta get this shit out. Especially as an indigenous man, do y'all not realize what the fuck has happened in this fucking country, in these places? When you have people invade, it's like an entity attachment. When you have shit that has invaded, intruded, unapologetically, comes in, steals, rape, remove, and do all this shit and claim something as if it's there, there's like a host in the body. Trying to possess something that isn't even originally there, it ain't even supposed to be there. I started driving, going to outskirts of places. I started, what the fuck? There ain't even police out here when you go to certain country parts. Why the fuck is that? But it's so infested, so parasitic when you go in towards the city, when you go into certain demographics and shit. I wonder why. Why has the focus been so much on people being a parasite to people like that? That's what y'all don't realize. Some of y'all, to me, when you don't fucking face yourself, you're parasitic. And you're pissed because I don't want to allow you into my space when I've cleansed myself of certain shit. It's parasitic. My point I was getting at is, even just as a darker man, You know what the fuck I'm prioritizing? I don't care what people say and do on a platform and so forth or whatever it is. Let me tell you something. There ain't nothing or no one in this lifetime that's going to prevent me from the rest and regulating my nervous system, especially as an indigenous man. So I would encourage other men to do it the same way. That's my message to y'all. That should be your fucking first priority, is coming back home to yourself. Going away. Yeah, it's going to get challenging because sometimes I don't even know. I'll be like, man, I'll be trying to find a fucking way out or a way. Because it's a balance. I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I want to go and stay away, there's a balance because of the calling and the purpose that you have, and I know I have. There's a balance. A lot of us are being removed to receive certain things that are protected, that are aligned with what we're here to do. Think about that. Ponder on that shit. Why they want to keep you in certain places. Why certain people don't want you to move away from your fucking hometown. You know why? It's bigger than a fucking generational cycle. It's because the divine wants to give you something. Wants to plant a seed. Wants to give you insight. Because guess what ended up happening? After you get that insight, you will realize the importance of pouring into yourself, seeing something and feeling what you never felt, getting clarity, and then seeing what this shit is really about. No, if I can convince you to keep fear and all this propaganda and plant seeds into your ass about that, you will never have the courage to feel like you can expand or go beyond where you are. And just as an indigenous man, as a darker man, motherfucker, I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of everybody. When I mean everybody, the fake, the phony, the motherfuckers who, I don't care, skin folk, you know, that shit don't matter to me. I've always said it. That shit don't matter to me. I know they don't love me. They don't love their fucking self. You know why they don't love themselves? Because they ain't took time to go out and get to know themselves. Y'all want to get caught up in the people who got all this shit. They don't know themselves either. They don't know themselves either. Because once all this shit starts shifting, and they gonna be asked to really uphold what the fuck they living through their raps, through their lifestyle, through everything else. Once all this shit starts shifting and dissolving, you're gonna realize how fake and fucking phony what y'all call the Matrix, or what y'all call the world, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, is, and how people are. And that shit gonna keep getting louder and louder. Louder and fucking louder. Then you're gonna wonder why motherfuckers don't want to be around people. Cause you know what it'll force? It'll force your ass to be yourself. So when certain things are removed, again, you ain't gonna know how to be yourself. Why you think you seeing all this shit exposed around sports and all this other shit? Everything else. People I'm telling you, people gonna start walking away. Medical system, all this other shit. Fake. Oh, this will give you this, and this will help you do this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Fake, phony, influencers, whatever the fuck y'all want to call yourself. Prophets, all this other shit. Yeah, you profiting, all right. You profiting. You do anything to profit. You don't give a fuck about the children or the people. You profiting, all right. And all that shit gonna be exposed. This shit be hilarious to me. I'm so grateful. Like I said, just as an indigenous man, like facing a lot of this stuff, it really just shows you the depths of life. I have to look forward and face forward and look forward to living a life where it's more than just being at peace. It's being able to build on things from that place. The emotional maturity, the emotional intelligence from building from that place. See, y'all get caught up in people, the racism and all that other shit, all that shit that's been built on self-hatred. Guess what? Yeah, they can pass their money down, but guess what? Guess what else they still passing down? That same shit in their blood. That same fucking emotion. That same, all that shit unresolved. See, y'all don't got it twisted. Y'all don't got bamboozled and fooled about people who want to carry self-hatred and inauthenticity and, you know, not living in integrity. Their fucking morals. Ain't nothing stable about that shit. Ain't nothing stable about that. People still acting like that. You're immature. You're like a child of sorts. You still ain't learned your lesson, huh? So let me put you through some more. I didn't come here to continue to go through the same shit. That's what y'all don't realize. That's what maturity and evolution is. When you didn't come here to keep doing the same shit. Because when you being faced with it, all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I had an opportunity right now to speak my truth. Like I said, my sensitivity is a power. They'll make men believe that it ain't. Listen, like I said, I'm sensitive to the bullshit that you think you're going to play in my face. This ain't a man you're going to come and bribe with. This ain't somebody, because I don't look to the external shit for power. Y'all do. Because what's rooted in that is your fears. Your subconscious fears. Most of you don't got careers and obtain it through the fear of something lacking in your childhood. Your childhood wound is being preyed on. Now all of a sudden you all powerful, you all like this and all like this. You so macro aggressive, you so aggressive towards certain shit. Nah. I've been in relationships and connections where a motherfucker wanted me to believe like your emotions, you're too loud, you're too this, you're too that. You know what I started to realize? I am enough. I had to learn how to balance certain things, but I realized I was just too much for this person. Yeah, too much. Guess what? You know what? My worth is realizing that there's someone or something not even looking for it, specifically for me. A lot of us are positioning. The divine had to take us through this shit. I know you're being positioned to be in your full expression, your fullness, your holistic, your fullness, unapologetically. The world has never seen this shit. That's why people half-ass. That's why people can come up and regurgitate shit but don't have nothing authentic. Because they're not coming from nothing. They're coming from somebody else's shit. That's why they limited. Because when you're coming from half, you're limited. I had to give myself permission to be in my fullness. And guess what that exposes? The people who don't walk in theirs. I don't care about, you can be your spouse, your mother, your children, your father, your mother, and so forth. Because they still putting on, they still pretending. They still people pleasing. They still feel like they can mask themselves and do all this other shit. They don't even know how to walk in their fullness. We came here to walk in our fullness. How do you do that? You embrace the parts of you that you hid away for so long. The parts of you that people try to silence. The powers that used to be, the things that try to silence. The spiritual warfare. Like I said, most people don't know who they are because they don't have no emotional depths. They don't honor the depths of who they are. The parts of them that they hated. The parts of them, the pain or just the dark parts of who they are. The parts they keep sheltered away that they express so unapologetically as a child. That's the dark parts of you. The shit you stored away. That's growing mold on it. The parts of you also that went through certain experiences. Traumatically, but you made it out. But you never acknowledged it and felt it and feel. I'm telling you, man, this shit is so amazing because I'm sitting here realizing now, man, I couldn't play small if I wanted to. I'm telling you, from relationships and so forth, seeing the secret competition, seeing the secret envy, them hiding. One thing about energy, it won't hide. I couldn't hide if I wanted to. And fear will have your ass trying to feel like, yeah, I'm gonna make this video, or I'm gonna do this content, or I'm gonna write this, I'm gonna do this. And I'm telling myself, hold the fuck up. If I was able to create this, why am I surprised that when I get an email, phone call, opportunity, and so forth, knowing that I'm walking into this? Knowing that that's something I was being prepared for. But I thought my life was supposed to look a certain way. And then you will have people in relationships, they'll try to box you in or put you in something to make it seem like, oh, I want you to be here, I want you to be that. I am more than a fucking father. That's what y'all don't realize beyond these labels. You'll put father and mother, and that's why so many people suffer. That's why so many people don't live to their fullness. Because they didn't feel like they're just a mother, bruh. Y'all feel like y'all just a father. You'll feel like you just an athlete. You'll feel like you just this. That shit is programming. And then you'll sit there and push little Elroy, the 5-year-old version of him, who was, this clown, or this, who liked to express, this joyful behavior. When I say clown, I don't mean like in that way. I mean like this version of him that kept him alive through whatever was going on. I'm living my shit out. Why do you think I love what I do when I come with my artistry? Because that's what I've been doing since I came into this world. That's something, and there's other parts of me too. Your past is your future. If you don't believe in that, your past, then that's fine. The present, but it reflects what you're here to do. Your body just changed, but you still hold the same fucking energy as a child. I'm still little TJ before all that shit happened. The one that was drawing, the one that would venture out and travel, the one that has been walking his path since he's been young. But anytime I used to see me getting in relationships or certain shit where I realized people didn't know how to walk in their fullness, it became a hindrance. Or I realized like my energy, it's almost like something within me was like, And then what ends up happening is that you start to mirror back in some of these relationships again. It's karmic, but in essence, what it is mirroring back to you and reminding you what you're here to do, what you're here to walk into. And that can look different for everybody. I told myself, I used to play with the Hot Wheels car. I'm going to drive the Hot Wheels car. Why do I have to fear that? Why do I have to care who's bothered behind that? That just reflects to me that they're not living in their fullness. I'm here to remind people, unapologetically, I have to still walk my path and embrace it. And embrace the little boy within me who didn't care as a child. We have been convinced that the child has left us. We have been convinced that the little boy and girl was gone ever since we hit a teenage age, or for some of us that had to be responsible very early. Just because I feel the word careless came up doesn't mean I don't care about my well-being. It's just the fact that I realize that in caring for my inner child, it's this innocence of like being a fucking superhero. Honoring my imagination. Embracing and enjoying the world. And I started to realize how much people have suppressed so much and they're carrying so much heavy shit. I had to realize in their relationships, bro, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people was carrying so much shit that was so heavy that didn't even belong to them. I had to be real with somebody the other day and I was like, yo, you don't realize at a time where I told you I went celibate and shit, I took that time to get to know me. I would have never created a mural of my first ever murals. I would have never created certain shit videos. I would have never. Y'all don't realize like that. Like it's so important to try to attempt to just any moment out of the day to pour into yourself. That's gonna always be my message. To find a way to pour into your inner child. I don't give a fuck if you go visit a old childhood playground, old childhood home. That's your soul. That's you. That's divine leading you back to a place. That's what was happening to me when I was creating my murals and most of my YouTube videos and so forth. If you go back to some of my YouTube videos, I was literally walking past the places where I had to watch kids when I was 7 or 8, 5, 6 or 7. Basically in elementary school before I was even in 5th grade. I had to be 3rd or 4th grade. I had to watch kids, and guess what? I had to walk through the very neighborhoods that I didn't know at the time where I was feeling what I needed to feel. I was walking so much till I gradually got to a place now where in facing that, I went years without driving. Now I'm driving. Now I know that I'm about to be flying. Now I know that a lot of things are finna come in completely different. Because during that process of going through those things, reconnected to those homes, at that moment, I didn't realize how much it brought up within me. The anger, the frustration, the shit I repressed. Not only within myself, but I suppressed with my mother. And I could no longer do it. So gradually now, from that duration up to now, 5, 6, 7 years later, from that, no, actually, it's been about 4 years now. Is it 4? 3 years, three years now from that time, whenever I did that video. It's funny because I saw childhood friends still living out the same stuff. That's what maturity is. Once you realize that's what puts you almost like 10 steps ahead, when you start to realize like the world, a lot of people have, with men, we have suppressed so much because we've been encouraged to suppress it. And we don't think our sensitivity is a superpower. Then with women, they have been silenced so much. So when when a woman feels she's been silenced, she's not going to encourage you to cry. Therefore, she's not even going to feel the importance of nurturing herself. Therefore, she will lead to try to nurture everyone else but herself. Then that keeps the cycle going in men. So basically, you're just a reflection of women. Women are a reflection of you, whether you subscribe to gender or not. Either way, it's a feminine and masculine energy you're reflecting back to each other. Because what that, facing that feminine energy, that archetype, that shit gives birth. It literally comes out no matter how much you want to hold it in. That's why people can be fake so good. They can fake so good because they have faked so long. They've been faking since that trauma or traumatic experience happened, where someone threatened them, where someone sexually harassed them or assaulted them or molested. Something from that traumatic experience taught them to repress it. Look, go into what really creates dementia. When certain things aren't connected in the brain, because of people constantly recycle certain shit in their minds and they don't connect the dots and certain things, they don't feel, they numb stuff. This is what's happening with a lot of elders. This is what's not going to happen with me and other people that I know, because I realize I'm starting to see the mental disorder in people. We have been taught to suppress and repress shit for so long that you aren't realizing that you're playing more of the trauma and cycling through your head rather than actually finding a solution, connecting the neurotransmitters to actually find a healthy outlet. Post-traumatic stress that a lot of our elders, intergenerational traumas that we are resolving right now, the shit that they didn't resolve. Now it's post-traumatic growth. Me seeing a positive. I'm already living the post-traumatic growth out. I'm living it out. And sometimes it can seem very heavy, but some people, they want to go at your pace. And that's the thing about, y'all don't realize, like in certain partnerships, you are on the same side. But are you on the same team when it comes to source? You're on the same side. You and the partner that you're with have, when you come together to create church, yeah, it's your mission to live that out. But at the same time, you still have your own individual mission, your own individual purpose. And that's the thing where I used to get consumed in partnerships and shit and trying to burn myself out thinking I gotta go do this because, she said, or All this people pleasing shit is collapsing. Y'all ain't living out y'all purpose. That's why you so unhappy. That's why you're not at peace. When nothing can get in the way of your mission and purpose, and when people try to attempt to do that, they're only going to derail and they're only going to backfire. And I'm telling you from living proof. I'm a firm believer in knowing that the source, where it say God shall make your enemy your footstool. Yes. All of that shit, that collective accumulated energy where they use so much against people in certain demographics indigenously was only accumulating. And then guess what? We alchemize it. Bitch, I'm alchemizing it. You mad because I'm alchemizing it? The shit you throwing at me as a darker man? And now I don't feel angry to go out there and destroy? I'd rather build. I'd rather destroy and reconstruct what's inside of me. Seeing what's fuck going on with me. Because I know a lot of you rather me go out there and send a message to the youth and other people and so forth that will continue to destroy them. Fuck that and fuck you and the energy that you hold when it comes to that. Because that's what makes you inauthentic. And that's why your foundation is crumbling. That's why you can't destroy shit over here. Because it begins with me. And then taking back my power, I realized who I gave it to and what I gave it to. So go play with somebody else. That's what you should be tired about. Holding people fucking accountable. Be in the fucking mirror. Hold a mirror to their fucking face. Man, what the fuck you doing is fake, bro. Sus. I do it all the time with people. Don't come over here and think I don't forgot about what the fuck has. No, you want me to forget. Why would I suppress it some more? Why would I repress it? No, I'm going to let you know how I feel if I'm called to. Don't come over here playing with me. You watched me. You didn't support. That's cool. Because I realized that was mirroring back to me to support my fucking self. You didn't offer the emotional support, the financial support. So guess what? I have to give it to myself and align with people who will. That's how you counter the thoughts. Solution. Greatest knowledge on earth is knowing thyself. The greatest thing a person can ever do is find a solution to their fucking problem. If this person ain't in line and this ain't adding up and we ain't on the same accord, guess what? Well, obviously this equation ain't equating. So now, everything is replaceable. I'm not going to feel guilt and shame around aligning with something that I feel home. I feel home with this individual, or I feel home with myself. Even if it ain't an individual is teaching me, hey, from this, you probably need to learn more about yourself. Instead of jumping into shit. It's learning lessons. It was preparing us. And I love it. But again, when you don't give people truly a solution, now the divine steps in. I'm going to bring forth people. I'm going to bring forth something else. Okay. This has been going on too long. This has been going on too long. So now we have to change some shit around. Now we got to move something around. So, of course, the powers that ain't or used to be ain't going to like. Of course, you ain't going to like a lot of shit that people coming in and shifting and change. Listen, don't ever make yourself small for nobody. Ever. Because they feel small. Want you to play small and nah. Go play with somebody else. Like I said, they don't want you to alchemize. I told you I sat and watched people see, dang, how can he do this with not having this? Because that's y'all focus. Because everybody ain't operating on the world that y'all live in. I don't operate on y'all little world. I don't operate in y'all shit. And that's the beauty of knowing that. I don't operate in that. Because when you in alignment, you realize how shit come to other people ain't gonna come to you like that. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. And most people ain't gonna get on and catch on until later on. And that's fine. I'm already gone. Adios. Talking about my sensitivity is a superpower. If I choose to be angry and I'm angry about some shit after the fact that I know what I put myself through, let me feel this anger. I don't want to talk to you right now, respectfully. Come on, go ahead. Move around. Move around. Told you I love myself. That fullness will allow me to express myself in however I want to. That ain't too much. You just ain't enough for yourself. Because feminine energy ain't too much. It comes in waves. It comes in different flows. That's all I got to say. You go work out or do something. So again, boy, the foolery out here. A lot of people ain't living in their full expression. They joke. Man, please. We came here in a part of being loved and lovable. That's what love is. That's the authenticity of is holding that frequency. Love isn't rooted in fear. It's fearless. Love is just love. It's unapologetic. And y'all want to make it romanticize it. It's supposed to be a certain way and all like that. Man, love has an expression. I ain't finna play. That's how much I love myself. I ain't finna play about me. You don't gotta like that. Y'all think love is a way of walking over on people and it's unconditional. No, we got boundaries over here. Fucking joke. Y'all don't got bamboozled. We all got bamboozled and believing romanticizing over love and all like that. Man, that's what's keeping it. Man, please. Y'all get prepared for what's this show. It's a lot coming in. Y'all take care of yourself. Peace and bliss. Shalom.